Welcome back. In this video, we'll take a look at another example of using for loop. Let's say the problem requires that you ask the user to enter the cost of, let's say, 4 different individual items, and then you add them up and then display the total. So again, the problem is that you ask the user to enter cost of an item, and then you add it up to the total item cost. Then you collect the price of the next item, and then you add that up to the total item total cost. Collect the price of the third item, and then you add that into the total cost, so on and so forth. So you got to do this for 4 items. So the basic idea here is we got 2 cells, right? Always think about how many cells I need to solve this problem. I have one cell called individual item cost. What am I using this cell for? I'm using this cell to collect the cost of an individual item. And when I collect the cost of an individual item, I simply add that to here. So that is for one item. For the next item, again, I am going to reuse the same cell to collect the data of the next item, collect the price of the next item, For the next item, collect the price of the item into that cell and then add it over here. Second item, we're done. For the third item, again, collect the cost or the price of the third item into that cell and then add into this. Fourth, again, I can keep reusing this over and over again to collect the price of this individual item and then simply add it to this, right? So that's what the basic idea is. So if you have to write it in plain English, write these instructions in plain English using these memory cells. Once you write that, convert that into a Python instruction like this. Again, these 3 instructions: collect the price of the first item and add it to the total. Similarly, these 3, if you don't want to display this here, intermediate, you don't have to. So these 2 items collect the cost of the second item and then add it to the total item. Again, these collect the cost of the third item, add it to the total, right? Is this an efficient way of doing it? Definitely not. Why? What if you have 100 items? Are we going to copy paste 100 times? Definitely not. So what do we want to do? We want to make use of loops. But before we make use of loop, let's quickly run through this. As you see, so I'm going to remove this intermediate cost here. So if I run through this without having the debugger, cost of an item, 10, second item, 20, 12, 34, total is 76. So if I put a breakpoint over here and run the debugging on, run it, it has the cost for the first item, let's say 12. And now you see the total item cost at this point is 0. And after this instruction, total item cost becomes 12. Now I'm collecting the cost of the second item, let's say $20. And now the value inside individual item cost is 20. Now, after executing that line, the total item cost now will become 32. 20 from the second item, 12 from the previous item, total is 32. Now it's going to collect the cost of the third item. Let's say third item is 18. So 18 arrives into that cell, and the next instruction says, take whatever is in this cell, 18, add it to whatever is in the current total. The current total is 32. So 18 plus 32 should be 50, and then you will see 50 into this cell here. So on and so forth. Now, again, this is an inefficient way of doing it, right? So I don't want to keep repeating the same thing. Basically, what I'm doing here is I'm repeating the same thing. You see, I'm repeating the same instructions over and over. If you are repeating the same instructions over and over, why bother copy paste? Do not copy paste. If you think you're repeating the same instructions over and over, do not do copy paste. Instead, have just one pair of instruction, get rid of the other, have just the set of instructions that make up the heart of that solution, and count in range 1 through 5, and then make that as the body of the loop. So now if I run it, put the breakpoint over here, as you know how the for loop works, let me make it a little bit neat here, colon, so it looks clean. So it's asking for the cost of the first item, let's say $12. Now, if you see total item cost is 0, individual item cost is 12. 12 plus 0 becomes 12. Now it came back to the top of the loop, and it's going to go into the body of the loop second time. It's going to ask the cost of the second items, let's say 20. So that is the cost of the second item. So total cost so far, total item cost so far is 12. 12 plus 20 is going to be 32. Now you got 32 here. Now it's going to ask the cost of the third item. Third item, let's say I type 18. 18 arrives into this cell, and current total cost is 32. The individual item cost is 18. 18 plus 32 is 50. 50 then, so going one more round, let's say 16. 66. Now it's going to get out of the loop, come back and display the total cost. So this is an example of using for loop to solve the problem. And the body of the for loop is just 2 instructions. And it collects the price of an individual and then simply adds that, right? And then when you come out of the loop, it is going to display the cost of the total. So in the next example, we will discuss about how to find the largest of the numbers, whether it's 10 numbers or 20 numbers, using the for loop. So that's in the next video. So we'll see you in that next video.